My good friend Robert the other day was driving, I think, through Douglas County, Georgia. He passed a tree that looked kind of interesting. And so he drove on by. There was a couple guys out working around it, but he had to go. He came back by and nobody was there. He was going to stop and maybe help them with the project a little bit, but everybody was gone at that time. It was about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Well, Robert sent me some pictures and explained to me what he saw, and I was a little bit amazed at what was taking place there. And let me say this, that many times people watch videos or watch someone do something and say, I got this, But it comes back down to really understanding the task, and maybe you've got the equipment and possibly even the skill set to do it. But it's very important that we think through the planning process, because that's going to determine how we use the tool and how we're going to approach the task. It's kind of interesting when you see situations like this. The stump cuts are kind of interesting, and I think probably some of the information they obtain from YouTube sites, because it looks to be somewhat of a Humboldt type of cut. But I don't think they had the bar length, or they didn't really have the control of the saw to be able to accomplish it. So they put a fairly level first face notch cut into it, then did a slice up from the bottom, not very open, probably about 25-30 degrees, and then they tried to get it out and couldn't match the back corners of the notch, looks like. And then they decided to start cutting from the back. And at this point, directions, unless they could control them rigging, or at least with a face notch and direction. And so they got down 2, 3, 4, 5 limbs, looks like. And then I don't know whether their time schedule changed or what, but something maybe started to move, or they were worried about adjacent structures, a house. I don't know from the pictures, and I didn't really ask Robert where the buildings were located around this tree, but I assumed that they were going to rope or lanyard this tree to be able to support it from going in the direction of the structures. But as you can see here, they started off getting up in the tree with a pretty tall ladder, and then they started tying off ropes, and looks like a kind of a small type of rope, and they ran 1, 2, 3, 4 at least up through, and wound them around some of the adjacent or existing limb structures, and tied it back down to another tree behind. And it's quite a job here. It looks kind of in a spider web format. So I'm not making fun, because these guys had enough oomph to actually give it a try. But if you're not quite certain with a tree, it's best to call a professional. I've even had here at our new house we just moved to, we've got a couple trees that need to come down. One's a pine tree, still with a green top. It looks like it was lightning struck several years ago, and now a lot of rot has gotten into that area, and it's just unstable. And another is an ash tree that's been overpowered by some ivy over the years, and I don't know, I don't see anything of emerald ash borer in it, but the top is starting to die out. The first time I saw it, looked like it was pretty well compromised. And so I called David, my friend, who's a certified arborist. He looked at them, and I asked him for a price to take them down. And that's really the thing to do. You know, is at least you need to practice on something that's within your power. And I have no place to put these trees down in one spot, in one piece. So it has to be taken down from the top. And when you've got a tree such as this one, or the trees here in my own yard, you've got to have that in your planning process. So just wanted to kind of throw these out. It's interesting, kind of funny, as you start to look at things like this and think about the process and people's thoughts. Trees are dangerous. They cause a lot of injuries, a lot of fatalities every year. And it's just not worth the savings. You can find someone that has some experience to be able to do that. When I say experience, that doesn't mean how long you've been doing something. It means how well you can put together a plan on this particular tree. Good sawing to you.